What's going on, everybody? This is Price, and welcome to Picks Nation, the DraftKings Breakdown Edition for UFC Fight Night Seattle. So I'm going to go over a few people that you want into your lines, but before I do, if you're watching this, don't forget to sign up, become a premium member. It's a whole $10. You're going to get the best ownership for DraftKings. You're going to get bets from a handful of different guys. I think we have 4 guys who have elite MMA minds on breaking down fights. You have the event simulator, you have an Optima, you have every tool you could possibly need to be successful, and it's $10 a month. So head on over, wewantpicks.com, sign up, become a premium member. All right, so it was looking kind of bleak for a while. I think this fight card has had 6 or 7 different fights that either get canceled, opponents change. It was down to 10 fights. They just threw a couple together, so we're now back up to 12, which is good for DFS because 10 is slim pickings. It's very condensed ownership. But now we're back up to 12. We got an interesting catchweight fight of Rob Font and Jean Matsumoto, headlined by Henry Cejudo and Song Yadong. So Cejudo being the former champion and former Olympic gold medalist against old Song Yadong, trying to make his rise back to at least attempt for a title fight, coming off a loss to Peter Yan. So we have a few guys making short notice fights. We have a couple guys making their debuts, but all in all, the card is filled out pretty nice. So now I'm going to go over my GPP play of the week, my cash play of the week, an underdog who I think is live, and then the fight that I believe we need to target because it's going to have high DraftKings scoring upside. So let's dive into it. All right, so my GP play of the week is none other than Alonzo Menifield. He is 8,700. And when you think of how his fights have gone over the last couple of years, he is the epitome of a GPP play. He has high upside, but he also has shown the ability to, one, like the Olberg fight, rush immediately and get knocked the fuck out and score terrible. But he has submission wins, knockout wins, decision wins, and he's also fighting a guy who's making his UFC debut, who has been a professional fighter for 2 years. 6-0 on the regional scene, but now he steps into the big boy tank with Alonzo Menifield and those heavy hands on short notice on a fight night in front of a whole bunch of people, which is typically a whole lot of pressure for a debutant. We've seen it time and time again where these undefeated guys coming in off the regional scene come in and face a fairly low-level UFC fighter and get just wrecked. Now, Menifield isn't great, but I'd say he's better than the bottom of the barrel at 205, so I'm going to go ahead and take him. He's 8,700. He gets a knockout win, should score 100 something plus if that's the route he takes. And in that case, he's going to be optimal at 8,700, and thus my GPP play of the week. All right, my cash play of the week is Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. He is 9,000 this week. It's going to be a very tough fight for him going against Allen as a rematch from their LFA days. But this dude, I think he has to have the best gas tank, if not the second best aside of Marab in the entire UFC. The dude is a freaking animal. He went out last time out and just destroyed Michel Pereira. Pereira was killing everybody leading up to that fight. I mean, knockout finish, spectacular. Did the flip over and land on and knocked the dude out. He was on a roll. And Fluffy went in there and drug him to the fucking mat and just took his soul from his body. Like, he's just eventually just wore him out. He scored like 195 DraftKings points. It was so bad that Pereira's girlfriend was in the crowd just playing on her phone, not paying attention to her boyfriend getting his ass kicked. So Fluffy averages over 2 takedowns per round. We know he's going to chain wrestle. Allen's going to try and stay on the feet. It's not going to be possible because Fluffy, being he, is going to be a relentless dog and shoot and wear him out. He has to stand up to stand and trade so he can set up his takedowns. And once he gets you down, you're going to expend all of your energy trying to get up. And whenever you do, he just drags you right back down and drags you right back down. And we even saw a guy like Kopylov, who had been training with the Dagestanis, get taken down and then not realize that Fluffy's going to submit him because he's a black belt BJJ guy. And then he gets a submission win. So that's how I see this going. It's either going to be a lopsided decision or a finish by submission for Fluffy, and at his price point with the wrestling upside, he's going to score a bunch of points. He's averaging over 115 DraftKings points per win. So lock him in any cash game. All right, so this is the hardest segment of the video, is picking a live dog, because I'm not a huge fan of a lot of them this week. And typically, when you look at this, popular opinion is going to be to take Cejudo because he's in the main event, gets 5 rounds. That's kind of a cop out. I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to go with Ricky Simone. He's 7,100. He is facing the very dangerous Javi Basharat. So Basharat's a big favorite. Simone has lost a couple in a row, but the reason I'm going to pick him is much like the last spot where I talked about Fluffy's wrestling. That's Simone's path to victory. He is going to at least shoot 4 or 5 times around. He's going to drag him down if he can. Basharat does have an 85% takedown defense, so it will be a little tough. However, Simone's not going to get into a kickboxing match because he knows he won't win that. He gets takedowns in every single fight. The key for him in this one is just get a couple early in each round, and then he can try and control it and win by decision. Or if he wants to get a finish, that'd be cool too at 7,100. But with the upside of his wrestling, that's going to be my underdog play of the week. And I'm going to hope that we can get 4 or 5 takedowns, 6-7 minutes of control time. You get that with the win. I mean, that's easily 10x of his 7,100 price tag. So Ricky Simone is the dog of the week. All right, my fight to target of the entire week is not the main event, because that, again, is a cop-out, because you get the 5 rounds. Not the co-main event, because I think it's going to be one-sided. It is going to be Ion Cutelaba and Ivo Aslan. So this has the makings of a great, great fight with finishing upside. You have Cutelaba, the Hulk, who is just pretty much non-stop action whenever he gets in there. He's crazy in the weigh-ins and the press conference, painting himself green being the Hulk. And he's going against a guy in Aslan who averages almost 8.5 significant strikes per minute. Now, the big difference is Aslan has no gas tank. So he's going to either have to knock out Ion pretty quickly, or Ion is going to implement a wrestling style, which we saw his last time out, work in takedowns, wear him out, and get a finish. So either way, I think we either see an early knockout, which scores well for Aslan, or we see Ion, the underdog, score well, getting takedowns, control time, significant strikes, and working in a finish when Aslan just can't simply get up and his body and spirit breaks and he gives up. Typically, whenever I want to do a fight to target, I'm going to go with the heavier weight classes because they have the ability just to, like, one touch, you're done. So give me a bunch of this fight in my DraftKings lineups. I have a feeling I'll be split it pretty 50-50, but I would lean Cutelaba just because of the upside and the gas tank issues with Aslan. But other than that, guys, that wraps up our DraftKings plays of the week for UFC Fight Night Seattle. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see y'all next week.